Greetings, Internet. This is your host, Oliver, of the halfmeasuresroom.com sobriety website for blogging. For those still suffering from alcoholism and drug addiction, I mostly cover stuff involving the 12-step program of recovery and abstinence from drugs and booze. It's been a while since I've made a video log, but this is for all y'all that are following Half Measures Room on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. I have a page there you can follow and join. Normally for the past 6 months, I had been unemployed. I had lots of time to make some changes and write a lot. I was putting in blogs 2-3 times a week. I was also doing these mini blogs on the LinkedIn profile. A lot's changed since then. Since March of 2017, I've gone through a lot. Had a new schedule. I've been re-employed with a new employer over the past month, and just so many things have been coming up and improved upon. The LinkedIn profile, I've been using Half Measures Room as a kind of a part of my portfolio because I love writing and I love technology. I went to college for programming and software engineering, but my passion has always been with literature and writing. It's just a hard path to follow with careers, and computers has also been something I've had an interest in since a young lad. My grandfather worked for IBM and sat me down with the first PC Junior when it came out and introduced me to DOS. I learned how to create games using the basic language and create objects with the logo language. And then, in high school I started with the word processing, learned how to type. But creative writing has always been something I enjoy doing on my own, on the side. It started off with poetry and short stories, prose. Currently I'm working on a novel that's semi-autobiographical, semi-fiction, and it has to do with sobriety. But blogging came up for me when MySpace was a big thing. I was pushed into creating a profile there. It was mostly for music for me. I love music as well. I've never played an instrument. I was a drummer for a friend of mine's band when he was be practicing, and his drummer was not available. I'd go in, so I like the drums, but it's mostly just music. I listen to all different types of music, rock, punk, rap. Real picky with country, real picky with metal, and real picky with the techno and electronic music. Mostly just rock and roll. I like the independent labeled bands. Not so much into the corporate sound. I like music from groups that create songs that they really like making, rather than stuff that's going to sell a record or make singles. But going on with that, man, there's so much I wanted to talk about. Lately, finances have been a big issue of mine, and I've really questioned myself how I should write these blogs. I've been getting lots of emails, networking with different groups and meetups in town for authors and computer programmers. And some of the emails I've been getting from these sites talk about blogging being less personal. But that for me has always been with the blogging. With the MySpace, I was grown accustomed to involving myself in this other sobriety group called Punk Friends in Recovery, and I became good friends with Jeff online and had good discussions with him, which prompted me to create my own profile under the pseudonym of Half Measures Room. And I want it to be like a meeting online, where people could discuss topics that I brought to the table. And I always like to talk about things that I'm going through or have gone through in the past. And this grew to Facebook, which the notes weren't as easily accessible and seen on the timeline as it was on MySpace. So I'm not real happy with using Facebook for this. That's why I started the web page for halfmeasuresroom.com, and just with the employers being able to look at this stuff, or recruiters, I've really questioned how I should write and present myself. But this is still more of a personal experience type of thing. And following that 11th tradition, I'm really trying to stick to that pseudonym, and when I do these vlogs, just by my first name only. But I, never, with these blogs and the video logs and the half measure room, I've always been careful not to associate myself with a particular 12-step organization, according to the 11th tradition, and use my first name only. So that's what I'm trying to do. But I still want to write the same way. Even if recruiters and employers are looking at this type of stuff, this is a personal thing. I'm only reaching out to those that have gone through the same thing that I have, and support, and helping them troubleshoot problems and give them, possibilities of recovery and maintenance of their own spiritual program and guidance. Finances have been rough. They still are kind of tight for me. And I don't like asking for money from people, but I get this fee once a year from HostGator. It's the hosting service for the website, and I've been real diligent about making that payment. This year was different, and I didn't know how to go about asking for help, so I put out this GoFundMe campaign and put it on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter, and within just a couple days, or a few days, I got response, and my campaign was met. The goal was met, and I was able to pay off the yearly thing. So I want to give a shout out and thanks for those 3 individuals, for really helping me continue what I've been doing with the blog, and reaching out to those in similar situations. I don't know how many people read the blog. I use WordPress to design it, and HostGator as my dashboard. It's just not something I look at a lot lately. I really just been focusing on spreading that message, and the word, as writing is something that I've always been really highly interested in. And it's always been told to me that in the past, from my English teacher that I liked a lot, and my father as well, that the best writers write about stuff that they've gone through personally and that they've experienced, rather than coming up with fictional stuff. So that's another reason why blogging is so good to me. It's something I really like doing. I used to have a radio program as well, something I've been wanting to do again. I've had several people come up to me and ask if I'm still going to be doing the radio program on Blog Talk, which I still want to do. It's one of my missions. I just having to fit it into my schedule, and the pricing. It's like $40 a month. I just don't have that kind of funds to take care of that right now, but I am supposed to be meeting with somebody here soon at coffee to talk about that kind of stuff. So it's still something that's in the works, and something I really want to do. It's like online meeting. If you aren't able to go to a meeting in person, if you're stuck at home, or you just don't want to go to a meeting, you don't want to see people, you can listen to the radio program. And I believe that Joseph from rumradio.org, I believe he still does this. So just go visit his website. There's a link to his radio show. And I also have links on my webpage, halfmeasuresroom.com. You can go into the About section, or the blog section, and there's links to all my profiles and the Blog Talk Radio. You can listen to the old shows until I get this new one started up again. I'm really looking forward to that. It was great. People could call in as well. I tried to have guests on the show that wrote books or played music about sobriety, and ask them questions, and just really get that discussion going. People calling in and adding to the topic. I really enjoyed that. So that's something I really have an aim to continue. I'm not in that position yet. With my life, one of my favorite things to do right now is I go to this meeting. In fact, I'm going to go tonight. It's a Thursday night meeting. It's a men's meeting, but it's stuck with a tight-knit group of guys, because it's a different type of format. It's a crosstalk meeting, which means we're allowed to, people that are sharing are allowed to speak to other people specifically. And it starts off the first 10 minutes of the meeting. It's one guy shares about what's going on today with his sobriety and what he's doing, the issues that he's being confronted with, things that he's lacking in, stuff that needs to be improved upon, questions he may have. And the meeting's called "So What Now What," and I think that's what it was labeled after, is what's going on right now. So what happened in the past? So what you want in the future? What is going on today? And that's really helped me out. It's a great network that I've built around these guys, and it's more like a group therapy rather than a 12-step meeting. It's another thing I really like about it. It's really different rather than just reading something from the book and going about our past and all that stuff. So that's something I'm looking forward to doing tonight. I can't really remember why I brought that message up. It's just my scheduling. I've had to realign a lot of different things. I've been using my higher power more with the prayers, and the evening review is something that I was lacking in. This whole trying to fit everything into this new work schedule has been difficult for me, but something that I'm really trying to build upon. The networking is just incredibly important. I've met up with a good friend of mine I've known for years in a program. We go on bicycle rides once a week. That I really enjoy riding. I've never been one to exercise. I don't like going to the gym or lifting weights or doing push-ups or running. I got to do something that's fun, that I like to do. So I like to skateboard at skate parks, using a helmet, of course. Had a head injury about 4 years ago. I don't know if any of y'all have been following me for that long. Remember me talking about that. But riding my bike is another one I just love. Riding my bike, going through neighborhoods and riding trails. It's a great way for me to get exercise and to get out of my head and focus on one thing rather than all these other bad and thoughts that are going through my mind. It's almost like a way to do a meditation, which is another thing that I've been lacking in, and that's just a great way for me to sit down in quietness and have all those bad memories and images and questions and thoughts that I'm having leave my mind. And the best way for me to do that is, outside here. I'm in my backyard. I can listen to cars driving by, or the birds up in the trees, or people jogging on this path behind me. And that's just a great way for me to focus on one thing in particular, rather than all this other stuff that's invading my mind. So riding my bike is great, and I go to wear the helmet, of course. I stick to the bike lanes. I try not to get on roads that have over 40 mile per hour speed limits. And this guy in the program that I've known for a long time is a lot more active with this type of thing. He can ride, up to 60 miles in one trip. I'm not really there yet. I can do 30, 35 miles at a time. My current employer offered to register me for this Lance Armstrong event here in town called Live Strong. And there was like 4 different rides. There's a 20-mile ride, a 45-mile ride, a 70-mile ride, and a 100-mile ride. So I did the 20-mile one. And I had no problem with that, and took some photos of me. It was really awesome, and I was really excited about doing that. Police were at every intersection at the lights, letting us come through and holding traffic. I really enjoyed that, so that's something that I look forward to. It's a way for me to network, and speaking with my sponsor once a week is a normal activity for me, and going to different meetings. I've got a home group, but my sponsor always recommended going to different groups so I could hear different people speak instead of hearing the same people over and over again, the same stories. It's a great thing for me to do. Excuse me. Going with that and spirituality, I just always like to read a little something during these video logs rather than just hearing me talk. And I do these devotionals. I read out of a couple different books in the morning. When I awake, right before my prayer, kind of helps set my mind right for the day. Excuse me, I'll get some to drink real fast. That's one of the things I did with the blogs. Like I said, I've been writing this Half Measures Room blog for about 10 years now, and especially with the MySpace stuff, I think this is what kind of started it. When MySpace was kind of going defunct and everybody was moving to Facebook, I didn't want to lose all those blogs that I had written. I've always wanted to have something on paper, something like a book or a collection. So that's what I did. I took all these blogs from the MySpace days and put them into a self-published collection. And I called it Notes from the Half Measures Room. And then I also had some when I was doing the radio show, and it was enough for me to collect into another book. And I called that Dually Notated. And both of those are available now through Amazon. And it's just a soft cover, and they're cheap. They're like $10 a piece. You can buy them through Amazon. And I also did a Bookemon, which was another self-publisher. It's just cost a little more money, but you can get the soft cover or the hardback, and I really like that. I think they're a little bit better quality. They just cost a little more money, and I have both of those up in that where it says I think it should say books or blog up on the website, the halfmeasuresroom.com website, where you can purchase those. And I didn't add anything extra to bring in money from that. I think I added maybe $1 extra to send to me, but that goes back into Half Measures Room, just for anybody's information, because I have to pay these fees to keep the hosting service going, and I also want to continue with the radio program, and it also costs me a little bit to do the self-publishing as well, because I want to get some copies in to look at them and see how well they are, which I do have a couple copies here at my home. That I'm willing to send out if anybody's interested in checking them out. I can sell them to you for $5 a piece if you want, just so you can take a look at them, see what you think. But my idea for doing that was not only just to have it in paper form, these writings that I had done over the years, but also for people to use as a devotional, and it covers a bunch of different topics. Lately, my blog's been about spirituality, because that's what's really been helping me. I can't do this stuff on my own, and I can get help from other people, but that really that main source of power must come from God, and so that's what I've been talking a lot about with my blogs lately. But again, like I said before, you can always check those out. But past couple of days, I've really got some good stuff from the devotionals I've read, so I want to go ahead and go over that, see if I can find them. I always take pictures of them on my phone here, see if I can find them. This is on November 1st. It says, faith is the messenger that bears your prayers to God. Prayer can be like incense, rising ever higher and higher. The prayer of faith is the prayer of trust that feels the presence of God, which it rises to meet. It can be sure of some response from God. We can say a prayer of thanks to God every day for His grace, which has kept us on the right way and allowed us to start living the good life. So we should pray to God with faith and trust and gratitude, and that's how it's been for me. I try to keep my prayers as generic as I can. I try to pray for other people as much as I pray, but I know I cannot play God, and I don't know what His what His conscience is in our life, what His force is for us, where He wants us to go, what His plan is. So I try to stay as generic as I can be when I pray for other people. If I know they're struggling with something, I ask for them to have help and support. If they have loved ones that they've lost, ask that they are surrounded by those that can help them walk through the mourning process. If they're having issues with sobriety, ask that they find that desire to get clean and have the support for their recovery. I've got a couple people I know that are in jail because of charges that have to do with alcohol and drugs, and I ask that they have the legal representation that's going to best meet their needs. I have another friend that's been looking for work for a long time, and I ask that he is provided with what he needs to make his ends meet, and that he gets the job that best meets his skill set. Just real generic stuff that I think these people are struggling with. And the stuff that I ask for myself, I do that 3rd-step prayer and the 7th-step prayer. Those are the biggest two for me. And every day I hear things in those prayers that really mean something. It used to be it was just rolling off my tongue kind of thing, but recently I've really been able to focus on the intent of those prayers and what they mean, and I'm just putting myself in that, asking for God to help put me in that right place and think of others rather than myself all the time, because that's my biggest issue, which most of y'all know if you've been in the program for a long time, is that selfishness is the root of my troubles. So getting out of myself and thinking of what I can do for others is really the best thing. I found this other one here. I want to read this. It says, today I am grateful for a new life, one in which my prayers are those of thanksgiving. My prayer time is more for listening rather than talking. I know today that if I cannot change the wind, I can adjust my sail. I know the difference between superstition and spirituality. I know there's a graceful way of being right and many ways to be wrong, and that just really sews it up for me. We've about reached that 20-minute mark on these vlogs, video logs. I think that's what they call them. So I want to go ahead and end it there. But I want to thank y'all again for those that are reading the blogs and following me on Twitter and LinkedIn, and please check me out on YouTube as well. I also have a page there with the previous videos. And if you have any questions or concerns, or want to talk to me, you can always go to halfmeasuresroom at yahoo.com and send me an email. The one that I used to have for WordPress and for halfmeasuresroom.com was just getting crowded with a lot of spam and stuff, and I just really got tired of looking through all those emails. So halfmeasuresroom at yahoo.com is the best way to reach me via email. And I thank y'all for being there for me. It's just it's a beautiful day. It really is. I love this fall weather in Texas. It's usually just 2 seasons in Central Texas. It's winter and summer, but I'm actually feeling this fall weather and leaves falling on the ground, and I can be out here in my t-shirt and not having to take cold showers and go to the swimming pool. It's just it's great. I love this type of weather, and God bless you all, and I'll see you on next time.